Welcome back to Super Sentai review, episode number 124. You almost said anime review, but same country that makes the anime, but different type of franchise. This will discuss the episodes 22 to 25. 22, 23, and 24 is a three-parter. Now, the thing with this one, it basically it's basically the culmination of a build-up that's been going on since episode 17, no, 18, I think it was. Yes, 18. Where basically we have this beast creature that's been popping up. Ever since episode 17 was the thing when thing was first introduced. And it's been slowly building over the course of the previous few episodes. And I think finally makes an appearance at the end of episode 22. And of course, also the stuff continuation the attempted romance between Corey and Ryu, where basically she's continuing to pursue him, and this is basically the first time it's brought up in a little while. I mean, the last time it was brought up was actually in the last multi-parter for this thing was episodes 8, 17, 18. So apparently the whole thing of the romance has been put on hold for a bit. It's still there, but so basically we have it where Corey gets asked out first by Guy. Well, first Guy and Ryu got talking, suggesting that Guy could basically take Corey and he could basically just be mopey. Yeah, from what I can tell, it looks like Guy has at this point, despite the fact that, well, Corey does know that Guy's got a thing for her. I think Guy at this point of the series has basically put his feelings aside for her and just basically went back to doing smooching a bunch of ladies. Yeah, that's pretty much what he's done now. He's basically said his feelings for Corey just so she can be happy with Ryu, despite the fact Ryu trying to push her to Guy. And at one point, basically, we have Ryu asking her to come with him. We got a picnic, a date. Nope. We go to his dead girlfriend's grave. Yep. And she's not very happy with it. She's very sad. She basically is very disappointed in him for basically doing this to her. And then later on, basically, because she finds out about his girlfriend finally. It's the first time it says she hasn't brought up since episode 1. Yes. So basically, to invite her to a concert, she invites him to a concert with her, and then he just passes off the guy, and then of course he proceeds to go to training instead of going out with her. And Guy man, he ditched her. So then he proceeds to beat the crap out of Ryu for this. Rito basically tries to intervene too, and then of course we have the monsters attack and the junkyard eventually was called away. Maria's I'm going to be the one to be the Jetman before I think it was Tran and Gray. And then finally, at the end of 22, the thing finally hatches. And then we have in 23, we have basically the kind of a one-shot group per se. They only appear just in this episode and the following one. Well, there is a good reason for that. I'll get to it. Though this episode is debut of Jet Icarus. Yes, a particular Zord that pops up here and basically becomes a secondary Zord throughout the rest of the run. And when it shows up, basically, first you see it in the air dimension, lifts off, and it flies over here and helps him basically when that beast shows up. And also, when Jet Icarus fights him, basically he gets his arm chopped off for his efforts. And this creature is known as Jet Garuda or Bird Garuda. Yeah. So we also debut of its Zord. We also see its Megazord form, or otherwise known as its warrior form, where it fights the creature, frees it, and of course we see it do repairs. Then of course basically the thing gets freed somehow. Though I should point out when thing shows up, it's kind of like when Death Destroyer showed up in Godzilla vs. Death Destroyer. Very similar. Just causing lots of destruction. And to cause damage mentioned the creature causes to retreat. creatures call it away, but they basically come away to combine both powers into one. And of course, then after the repair, of course, Icarus basically is, well, let's just say it's already fixed and ready to go out of battle. That one's not finished yet, but it'll be out shortly. By the way, the thing is piloted by 3 people from the back dimension. Basically the same place where the Count is from. Yep. So yeah, eventually, by the way, the names are Dan, Kana, and Ray. Yes, Ray is the leader of the group, and Kana is his lover. Yep. And it's stuff basically where it's showing what basically do it together, and of course hints that maybe Ryu could be with Corey. There's a little bit of advancement there. Not much per se. No serious layers. Not much advancement there. Then pretty much like then they go on the battle, and then we have them going out, and of course and they're flying out, and then of course they're shut, and they're brought down by the Count, who proceeds to kill the other two and throw the air guy away. And when we finally see him transform, Dan, we transform into his Birdman. Basically repairs going on. Basically Dan takes Anko out, because these two have nothing to really much to do anyway. So they go eating and sleeping, and or they basically just relax in the field. He does a little bit about his home, where basically it was like very peaceful until the virus showed up and basically destroyed it pretty quickly. Even he questions like, how the heck did they destroy it so quickly? Yeah, it's very questionable at best. And of course they have this thing where he puts like, first thing he does basically, because it's implied he's got a thing for her. Well, first, basically, he says to be a pervert by lifting up her skirt and seeing her panties. Like, oh yeah, that's what he's greeting. And of course, kind of like, no, it isn't. It just is being a pervert. And then basically have him take a flower and wrap around her finger like a ring. And of course, he does the same thing with him later on in the episode. Then, of course, basically, they do in fact get this looks like the other two are pretty much killed pretty easily. Dan transforms into his Birdman form. Yes, Birdman form. The other two, you see what they look like in the transformation sequence in the transform state, but they don't go into form. They're basically like in regular base form. So eventually he fights the Count, and of course he gets him out, and of course then they combine to form a combination Megazord that pops up. According to what I see on the Wiki page, basically Great Icarus. It only pops up like after episode 24, like a few more times after that. It doesn't pop up 25, I know that for sure. But it does pop up in episode 26, 28. So they eventually use this thing to destroy the beast, and of course the Count is basically livid. And, well, that was last of the regular dimensional beast, mind you. Because there was 25 until probably the finale, we have the debut of the Biobeast. Next year are basically the stuff I can use with the spider, plus with animal DNA. This one basically is the armadillo stuff. Yeah, and of course they use a skylight from a baseball stadium, and they use it to create shadows people, and of course they use it to create a one-shot group of characters who appeared just for this episode. The Shadow Jetman, basically evil Jetman, where they proceed to basically beat the crap out of the Jetman. The thing is, only 4 or 5 here because guys out basically smooching your lady. Eventually, it's up to him to basically save the Jetman and eventually destroy the armadillo. It's definitely a good episode, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all that's basically happening over the course of these few episodes. And with that, I'm basically taking a break from Jetman. Yeah, I'm basically back after do a couple things. First of which is going to be, well, I'm going to do some anime, obviously. But before I do the anime, I'm going to do one quick thing to do. And that is going to be starting up a new series. What series, you might ask, that's going to be? Well, it's going to be a review of Kamen Rider. Yes, I'm going to be talking about this. You're probably thinking, why are you talking Kamen Rider? You'll find out when I do my first Kamen Rider review discussing. And I'm only going to go there very briefly. And I do the anime stuff. I do all the anime stuff I want to do. And then I come back to this one to finish this up and do more Kamen Rider after that. Okay? So the next video is going to be Next two straight videos are going to be 2 comic corners, okay? Next video. Bye.